Hi, I just want to give you a heads up. This video is going to be a little longer than usual, so I'm going to put a little index in the description so you can click ahead to parts you think you might be interested in. I hope you watch the whole thing because it's very interesting to me. I've been working on it for a couple weeks now, and just to give you an overview, what I've been wanting to do for a long time is control my synthesizer with something else besides a keyboard. So I found a little joystick that was actually connected to one of those little power chairs, and I thought I'm going to use that. And so I didn't know how. I just went on to the internet and figured it out. So you'll see the journey as I go through it. I learned a lot, so I hope you do too. Since it's going to be a longer video than usual, I'm going to show the process I went through of creating this thing, and then maybe a little demo at the end, but then I'll do a whole other video where I actually show what this thing can do and make beautiful sound with it. So enjoy! This is a controller for a power chair, and usually, I mean, it looks like a joystick, but it doesn't rotate the way a joystick does. It's got slots, either this way, that way, that way. So inside there's not two potentiometers that provide a rotation. It's basically just 4 switches, forwards, backwards, side to side. So inside, just wanted to break this open to show you. It's basically just this one, that one, that one. And each of these wires goes to a pin. I've traced it out so that I can put, these two are off, and these all go to a different direction. And then there's one that goes to the red portion of the LED, and one goes to the green. Actually, there's 2 little bitty LEDs inside this one package, but we can't see it with our eyes. All we see is it turned red or it turned green. So I decided I would try to make a modular synthesizer controller. And this, I don't know if you can see, but it's broken. So it's not in the best condition. And I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So first I had to find an adapter for the pins, so it'll go onto a board. So these pins, I thought, should fit onto one of my strip boards, but it didn't. These aren't equidistant. So then I decided to make my own board. So I punched a hole in this paper. Where is it? I can't find it. But I punched this into the paper, and then I scanned it into my computer, and then I experimented with all these different ways of getting the signals from here to an Arduino, and from the Arduino to the modular. And since the Arduino has lots of outputs, so I decided to include this button so that there's not just 4 switches going on, but the option of holding it down so that I have another 4. So, all that being said, I designed this little circuit here, and it's basically just a breakout board, so that this is where the Arduino would go, and this is where this little guy goes. because I made the mistake of buying double-sided glossy paper, I don't want my iron to get stuck to the paper, so I'm going to put some paper towel over it. Smash it down. I got this PC board etching solution from Jameco, and I poured it in there, and I put this in the microwave and heated it up for about 2 minutes, and then take this little fella and put him right in. Nope. Just put it right in there. Then it's just shaking and shaking for the next 15 to 25 minutes. This is what I'm going to do. But I won't video the whole thing, so the magic of videography. Looks pretty good. Right, here's the piece right here, and I'm just going to and it's looking pretty good, except for that one spot right there. Yep, right there. But we can just stretch some, how about me? I can just stretch some solder across there as a bodge, or I might even put a wire across there. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Well, I did drill the extra holes so that the Arduino would fit on there, and And also these holes fit just right into those slots there. So that works, except that it's not a good idea to put the Arduino right onto the board because you might want to take it off again. And the best way to do that is to solder on these headers. Turns out this is the extent of my header collection, so I had to order more from SparkFun. So, and on closer inspection, I mean, I knew that these voids existed, and I didn't like them. I thought I could get around it, but now that I have to wait anyway, I'm going to make a new board, and I'm going to experiment with laser etching. So laser etching is when you take a bare board and you spray it with paint. Then you take your Illustrator file or your Inkscape file and feed it into the computer and then into the laser cutter. And the laser cutter cuts out this. That'll become clear in a few minutes because I'm going to record that. As you can see, there's some soot left over from the burning on the copper. I've been smearing the soot off of this. I got half of it done so far, but I don't know if it's necessary or not. Maybe the etchant will etch through the soot. Just in case, just because I'm curious, I left a little corner here all sooty, and some of these edges are a little sootier than really, if I was being precise. If I was really concerned about it, I would go after them. But I'm kind of curious to see what will happen. I'm going to finish the rest of this board because this is sort of like my practice board. I didn't get it exactly aligned, so it's not perfectly centered in the way I wanted it to be. I don't think this is going to matter very much, but I'll practice on this board, and then if the soot needs to be scraped off, then I'll know this one is perfect. So we'll see if the soot needs to be scraped off. It's kind of time consuming. I'm just using the edge of this piece of wood here, what I practiced on, and it just comes right off. So we'll see. Well, it turns out, I don't know if you can see it, but this little bit here that I left covered with soot wasn't etched by the ferric chloride. I also did some little islands here that wouldn't hurt too much if they got exposed. So while I have this out, I'm just going to try to maybe the soot will come off even after it's been exposed to the ferric chloride. I don't know. Maybe you already knew the answer and you just were waiting for me to find out. So if that's true, now we both know. So I'm going to give this a little squidge of a cleaning. And now that I'm looking at it, it appears that even the edges that were smudged with soot haven't been able to be etched by the ferric chloride. So that's a good piece of information. Now everyone knows. Well, fortunately, you can see through here that the copper did get eaten away. Mostly. You probably can't see it, but I can see there's still just trace amounts of copper here. But that's not going to bridge any charges. We're safe. So the next task is to find out if this paint actually did cover up all the copper. So how would you remove paint from PCB? Ben Heck, which there's a link right there, used acetone, and I have some acetone, but I'm going to use this stripping gel because it smells better. It smells like oranges, and it's apparently safer too. So I'm just going to glop it on there. Blop. This is my practice board anyway, so if I mess it up, it'll be okay. How could you mess it up? It might just take a little longer. I might need to use some elbow grease to get the paint off. And the question you might be asking yourself right now is he going to make me watch paint strip? The answer is no, I will not. I'm gonna wave my magic wand. It'll turn out great. Actually, I should have kept the camera rolling because it was really interesting, and it only took like 3 minutes. It just crinkled up and I just wiped it off with a paper towel. It was very easy. So the next question is, am I going to make you watch me drill all these little holes? No. Right, so that's that done. All the little holes have been drilled, and I just wanted to pause and encourage you to use jigs whenever you drill straight lines of holes like this, because I just went zoop, 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 zoop all the way down the line. It was very easy, and I didn't have to worry about making this wandering line of holes like you saw before. So next is wiring it up. Turns out the reason why this joystick was thrown out, besides being broken and just sort of cheap anyway, was because the red wire, which was connected to a switch up here near the LED, just wasn't making connections. And I had to open this up again, and I broke another screw out just to find out, just to trace it back through and discover that something in this assembly is not making a connection. Probably inside here. Maybe there's some gunk in there. I don't know. I tried to clean it out with contact cleaner, but it just wouldn't fix. So I cut it off, and I took out all the little wires and connected them up through these screw terminals. So I couldn't use really, I mean, that's the whole reason why I built that other circuit board, is because I needed something that would fit this pin header. But now that I don't need to use this pin header, I'll just use a strip board. So I broke it out and attached it to this strip board, and that's the update for now. Okay, so I have everything. Alright, so I would have alright, here's a screenshot. I'll just move this down here. Say goodbye to you. Alright, so here's a screenshot of the serial test I've loaded onto this Arduino, just to make sure that when I move this joystick, it actually does do something. And I didn't do a screen record because I needed to have both of these on the screen at the same time to show you. So here's, I have it on to number 24, which should be the east button, and look, there it is. It's pulling it up just like I commanded it to. So that's a success. In that last clip, you saw a brief glance at the code, and even though I'm not going to go into a deep analysis of the Arduino code, I did want to mention that I wound up not using that code because even though it did make things happen, I couldn't isolate the button from the joystick. So when I pushed the button and moved the joystick up, north is what I called it, I did send a signal through pin 6, but I also sent a signal through pin 2. And I didn't want that. I just wanted to go through pin 6. So I wound up using what people in programming call states and cases. If you're not familiar with Arduino code, I'm right there with you, because I had to scour the Arduino forums to find someone who was using a joystick and a button wanted to do the same thing I did. Turns out that's pretty common. But in my mind, I've imagined writing code that would say, okay, if nothing's activated, then turn off all the pins. If this one's activated, then only use these 2 pins and turn everything else off. And I didn't know how to do that, so I found out. I did want to mention the 2 other sources I used to learn this code at the beginning level. One is Do Space here in Omaha. It's a community makerspace. The other is an electronics learning course created by Uven Dahl called Omify. And as you see here,
these are all the courses that I've completed, 100% complete. I even got a little certificate to prove it. Some of them are Arduino, and some of them are other electronics things that I need to know. Very basic, and it was very helpful. So I wholeheartedly recommend his electronics learning courses. So that's all I wanted to say about the Arduino code. I won't be uploading this to GitHub or any forums just yet because there are still things I don't know about this specific code, how it works, and I want to learn it. I want to know how it works inside and out before I submit it, because chances are someone will look at it and ask a question about the exact thing that I don't know about. So on to the build. We're almost finished. Thanks for sticking around this long. There we go. I've assembled this little box here. I didn't have the strap clamps, so I just took some string and I wedged these wedges in there, and that'll keep it together while the glue dries. It probably doesn't, I mean, I don't think I'm going to need any screws, because I'm not going to be jumping up and down on it. I'm just going to be pushing buttons. And so the next thing to do is to put some wax, the panel on there, and just to make sure here, it's 2 centimeters. So over. That's exactly 2 centimeters. That's exactly what I was thinking. And just to make sure I don't put my holes in a spot where there's wood. So that's the area, and I've already sort of figured out this will go right here, and these go in a semicircle around it. So I just have to use something that's about right. Semicircle. Let's make sure this is just right. Let's do 6. Here's the final product. Just wanted to show it in the sunlight because it really brings out the grain of the wood. I don't know what kind of wood this is. I found it on the scrap pile, but I rubbed tung oil into it and waxed it, and it came out very nice. And the paint job's very pretty too, obviously. I'm going to be staring at this thing for hours on end, so I thought I would make it look as nice as I could. And there we go. Oh, here's the inside too. Oh yeah, I used the sunlight so I could do like a spotlight. So it just kind of fits right in there. And I poked the USB port out so I could make changes as I need to. And something that just pleased me to no end was finding this strain relief so that I could, because I knew that holding a joystick, I'm probably going to yank this away at some point. So it's nice to be able to just kind of carry it like this. And now I'm going to play it. And like I said earlier, I'll be posting a longer video, but I just want to demo what exactly this is supposed to do. And if you followed the link at the bottom of the screen to this spot, then you missed a really interesting video. You should go back and watch the whole thing. But now you can get to see exactly what this does and move on with your day. Thanks for watching. So first I'm going to focus on what I can control in this module setup. A lot of the CV I want to control is located on my little sequencer here, this transient module's 8S sequencer. Hold, reset, direction, and random. So up, north is reverse. Go back that way. Then this one, what is it? Oh, reset. That's reset. This one is random. It's hold. Okay, and then with the button, I can control, let's see, did I do all of them? Random, direction, reset, hold. Okay, so those are all on this, without the button. With the button, I've plugged into, over here, maths, which has been distributed to the rotate selection here on the 4MS clock divider, and then also to control the frequency and gain on the spring reverb controller. And there's one more. We'll find it. So let's see what it is. How it turns out. Well, that's the gain. Let's throw a little more. And this is the rotate, increasing the number of rotations, or increasing the division, or decreasing the division, actually.
what is that? Oh, I plugged that one into the CV of the micro VCA, the IntelliGel, and it removes the CV that I'm sending to it from maths. Once again, kind of like that. And this one is the frequency. I'll turn that up. Play with that gain some more. It's not so spectacular, but that's what I can control here, and it's evidence that it does work. But I'm going to put it on my Robert Sonic's wave trigger, because that's almost as fun. That's equally fun. So, if you will recall, in my demonstration of this device before, these 16 jacks are connected to a little board devised by Robert Sonic's. It's just a wave trigger device that stores samples on an SD card, and then when I play them by patching them to this sequencer, it sends out the sound of whatever it is I have recorded. So I'm going to trigger them with my new box. So now I've taken these cables from the trigger, the joystick trigger, and plug them into that half of the wave trigger device, and then I've taken these from the controller, the sequencer controller, to the other half. So if I program a sequence real quick, then I can jam with it. You get the idea. And you know, obviously, since I have 8, I can press this down. Yeah, there's that obnoxious one. Quack, quack. So, ta-dim! That's how it goes. And obviously, I'll practice with this some more, and I'll make another video. Or you know, obviously, I'll be using this as a part of my setup from now on, forever and ever, until it breaks, and then I'll make a new one. So, thanks for watching.